dear viewers and listeners of the podcast Got in the Motion. With me, the main host, Javor Ivanov, and with my favorite co-host, Kubrat Ivanov, more known as Scooby.
Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Christmas special, where today Javor and I have coupled up to talk about the different aspects of Christmas and the New Year's and the festivity around these 2 weeks off, traditionally from school. So how are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very good, we haven't been able to produce an episode in a very long time due to a plethora of reasons. I mean, you're working, I'm studying. For the people that don't know, I'm a final year in my secondary school, so it's intense for both of us.
Yeah.
But now a little bit of time is freed up, and don't think that we've forgotten about you for the people that are watching us.
We haven't, and as well as my co-host said, he studied very hard, and I study as well. I'm working into school, so but here we are so happy that we are back. So I have the pleasure to ask you the first question. What is Christmas for you as a young man growing up in the 21st century?
I think for me personally, Christmas should revolve around the religious aspect of it primarily. It's obviously the birth of Jesus, and each year you're celebrating it. I don't see another reason why you should be celebrating Christmas unless it's for that. That's what it's known for. That's how the Bible depicts. It's the sole reason. Everybody knows Christmas is, and obviously you have other opinions where you have atheists, you have other religions, and that's why they don't celebrate Christmas. But then you have people that don't strictly believe, or they're Christian, but they still try to fit in, and Christmas is for everyone. I'm not saying, if you're not strictly religious, you're not, go to mass, reading the Bible. But the meaning behind it is, for me, what makes it special. It's celebrating it as a family and celebrating the birth of Jesus. It's simple, plain, cliched, but I mean, the truth is one. So,
yeah.
What about you?
Now, for me, Christmas is as well, celebrating the birth of Jesus, the time for the family, for the loved ones, to spend more time with them if you're off.
Yeah, if you're yeah.
And luckily, this year I have the extreme pleasure to be off for the Christmas and New Year,
yeah.
which is very unusual in my experience the last 30 years. And it's for me it's the same. The core of Christmas for me is the born of Jesus, and it's something related as well to that. Is when you're spending time with your family, with loved ones, you think of the one, if you believe and you're Christian, who was born and then later died. For you, for our salvation.
Yeah, and where does Christmas originally come from?
Historically, if we go look at the aspect of Christmas historically, we do not know when Jesus was born. So here is a big argument why you celebrate Christmas when you don't have the date, but we have to celebrate. In the other people will argue we should celebrate in some day in the year. Originally, that was a big celebration in the Roman Empire of the god Saturn. It's called Saturnalia. And it's maybe was this celebration on this time of the year, especially because it's the darkest and the coldest in Europe. And most of the Christians were living in Europe, but before that was a pagan celebration called Saturnalia. And the church, that's a lot of people blame the church that they put the date of the birth of Jesus in Saturnalia because it was so popular, so to give a Christian meaning instead of the pagan one.
Yeah.
But, okay, people argue they should not do that, but also people argue and saying, why not?
Yeah.
It's the darkest time of the year in Europe. It's the coldest, maybe the most depressing for most of the people. So why not have some festivity and celebration, and why not celebrate once we don't know what is the date of the was born Jesus, to celebrate it in December. So I'm proud to be celebrated in December. some people arguing, but I think it's not.
It's
Well,
subjective.
Subjective, and it's not
subjective.
that important. But I think it's a good
Yeah, it
choice.
is. Exactly.
It's a good choice, but that's particular time to celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, and talking about celebrating Christmas and different parts of the world, but in general, have we drifted away from the core celebration of Christmas? Now you're seeing the materialistic side. You, a lot of children are being brought up not with the excitement to be with the family. Step away from religion, but even being with the family, the propinquity, the closeness. But it's rather about waking up in the presence. Now, obviously, as a kid, how could you not be excited? But do you think that now we're reaching another extreme of where Christmas is just...
It is, and I tell you why. Because the origin of as well Christmas. Maybe I didn't ask. Very important part of the answering of your questions. The second question about origin. Origin is about Saint Nicholas, who was a bishop in what is now Asian Minor, and he inherited a lot of wealth, and he gave to the poor. And the sock is the symbol where he put the money for two girls who were going to sell in slavery. He put in the sock exact money to pay, so they wouldn't go to slavery. So it's drifted because now everybody, the religious parts, the belief, the faith, it's kind of faded away, and it's replaced with materialism. It's all about presents. It's nothing but to receive presents, but I don't want to go too philosophical, but and deep in the social aspect of Christmas. But is it not becoming very materialistic? And we're waiting for Christmas just for the presents, and also do all the kids get presents?
Yeah, well,
in the world, when you think of it,
no.
Not only the developed countries.
Yeah, obviously.
So there is part that is to me a bit ugly because it's becoming too materialistic, and it's only for a certain children of a certain part of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, there's not much that you can add on to that. The evidence side of one being able to afford it in the developed, and then you have developing or the people that are not as financially, have the preponderance to pay for their children's desires, dreams, simply because they don't have basic needs such as housing. That's
yeah, and then the other thing is, what exactly is a big surprise for a child who is extremely poor? A little car of Matchbox for €2 will make the most happier Christmas.
Yeah.
For a poor child, and that in the developed world, including you and me, we don't appreciate anymore as much the presents because we get them every year, and a lot of times they're quite expensive compared to the people who live in poverty.
Yeah.
So I think if one day we all, as a society and people, we can make every child in the world to have a present.
Yeah.
Will be fantastic, even though if they're not Christians, just as a Christian, as a people who want to give, not take, to be able to pay for all of them, at least for one little present, even though they are not all Christians, but to show that we have good hearts and we haven't lost our human touch.
Exactly.
The next question is towards you. It's an interesting one. Maybe a lot of our listeners and viewers haven't heard. But have you heard of yourself about Grandfather Frost, or also known as Marosko, or Djeduška Maroz, or Djado Mraz in Bulgaria?
Yeah, of course. It's he's a prolific figure, we'll say the least. For the people that don't know who he is, throughout the communistic period, and the communists wanted to take away the religious aspect, the religious belief from the people, from the masses, the multitudes. And for example, it was taken away, the celebration was not on the 25th, it was on New Year's night, so 1st of January, where Grandfather Frost, or whichever other surname you want to use. He would come down, give you the presents. He's mistaken even to this day. Sometimes you look at the uniform; it's the exact same. It's the white beard, your typical red big coat, or even the blue one in some situations. And I've heard of Grandfather Frost and the reason on why he was created, and I mean it was effective. If you look at it, it was effective to a certain extent.
Kids especially were waiting for him.
Exactly.
In communist countries.
Yeah, you could say that they acutely manipulated that materialistic side for the kids.
Yeah,
the excitement drifting from the religious day to the 25th to the 1st, but. Yes.
But as well, he was as well giving only presents to the good kids.
Yeah.
The same like Santa Claus. Let's move a bit the center of our conversation, the aspect of it in a different direction. Let's talk about religion. Is it it's really you more or less you answer it, but do you think it's more of materialistic celebration than a celebration of faith?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you touched upon that. Obviously, I think so. Now, I'm not generalizing this. There's obviously a huge cohort of people that are simply following it for the religious aspects, that are devout Christians, that are don't even think it's a secondary thing that occurs, the presence for them. But in general now, the dissemination of those mercantile beliefs with waiting for the presence, I think so. And even nowadays with this new developed mindset, I mean, conservatism in general. You have less conservatives, you have less religious people. You look at Ireland. I have so many acquaintances, friends, classmates. I'd ask them, are you religious? No. What about your grandparents? And they'd say, my grandparents have a cross in every room, have a Bible at every floor, and light up their candles every night and pray. And it just shows that back then, the different generation with the different belief were focusing on the religious aspect, while now we're shifting towards the materialistic one. And I just think that the only way for there to be the sort of equilibrium we're shifting back towards 30, 40 years ago would be as if people were as strictly religious, which I don't see.
Or have a faith, yeah. And would you say that's in the general picture brought us to more selfishness?
I mean, yeah, of course. You're seeing people on the streets. For an example, in Dublin, they have the big boxes with money, with their yellow vests, and you're walking past the street, and a lot of them are very effective in what they do. They raise money, but I'm not saying you have to give money to show gratitude, celebration, but it's just you have people spending hours a day, and there's only €5 in there, and you're talking about festivity, giving to the other people, and if you can't, that's no problem. But out of the hundreds of thousands of people that cross the streets of Dublin, for example, that can give, but they don't. Well,
even though in general in my study I look at closely a lot of statistics, and Ireland in generally speaking is a very giving country. Irish people give a lot. I don't remember the number, but it was significant, between 50 or 100 million for charity. It's coming from charity for the homeless. So in Ireland, generally speaking, compare the other
other countries, absolutely,
it's charitable. But I was asking you in general that once the faith it's gone, or it's not present as much as 30, 40 years ago, as you mentioned, do you not think people generally become more selfish because the faith is teaching you first to think of the others? Your neighbors, your wife, if you're married, with your children. Even the ones you don't know who are in need, then now today it's become more of me. Which it's sad, and I don't think it's good to anyone, because if everybody is selfish, is simple, then nobody will care as much as it used to be.
Well, go to more personal, I think, because we've covered the general topics of religion, personal beliefs, the generation difference, and how many people believe and how strongly they believe. But what was your favorite Christmas memory throughout your lifespan?
My favorite one was when your mom joined me in Ireland because we married in August 2005, and some bureaucrats decided it was a sham wedding, even though it was my first marriage, and your mom as well. It was very annoying and very hurtful, and they refused visa because they thought it's a sham marriage. So I have to send a picture of my wedding. They never gave it back to me, but finally they gave her a visa. I don't want to go deep into that immigration topic because it's too deep and too maybe it's not personal, and it's not Christmas time to talk about it. I don't think in this podcast anyway, in this episode. And finally she was given a visa in November, and we're living in a small basement apartment, but with a little Christmas tree and with lights, and I think that was the best Christmas for me ever.
Yeah. Okay.
That I was already was happy that they give her visa. I think it was around the end of November, so we could have been together, and we have been together. So that was one of the happiest Christmas I had.
Well, that's I've actually never asked you that, and now to bring it up in the podcast, it's good to hear.
Let's talk about Christmas and traveling. A question about what would you like to spend Christmas, rather Ireland or Bulgaria? The country you were born, the country Ireland you grow up, spend most of your life, 99%. What would you like to spend Christmas, rather, if it's not Bulgaria?
I'd like to experience it in every single weather condition possible. Maybe one Christmas I'd be in Australia, or I'd be in Colombia, or just somewhere that's totally different to your atypical cold, dark at 4 o'clock weather, where you have, even the other day and today, there was this dense fog. The beach with a drink in your hand, and maybe seeing how does Christmas feel in summer-like weather,
like Florida or California,
exactly,
or Philippines or whatever.
Traveling to somewhere else, and then honestly, I'd like to go to somewhere where there's just snow everywhere. Because for the people that don't know, Ireland, it's known for being cold but not snowy.
No,
I'd like to go back. Obviously in Bulgaria there's a lot of snow, but somewhere where it's a different culture, different language, and to see how another country celebrates Christmas. And I think I like to experiment, honestly, in different countries, different traditions, and see how it is and where I like it the most. Because Christmas can be celebrated from anywhere, and it's what you have in the heart rather than where you're celebrating it. So
And this question asking you, it just brought to my head the question: where did I spend my Christmases? 24 years I spent it in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And now 24 in Ireland.
Yeah.
All of them. 24 the first half of my life in Bulgaria, now in Ireland. I've never been in another country. It's good, it never occurred in my head, but once you're saying now, it's interesting. What you said about the ideas to travel and where and how. I like as well seeing different people from different cultures and learn about them and experience the emotions with them. But what is talking about materialism? But here we are. What is your favorite present so far you haven't given for Christmas?
Favorite present? I'd probably say it was 5 or 6 years ago. A smartwatch that was given to me. I remember that I really wanted it, and you had taken me to the store with all the laptops, watches, yada yada yada. And I don't know why. When I was, especially that age, I was 13, 14. I really, really wanted that watch. It was something about it, the electronic watch, and I didn't expect if I was going to get it. And
Smartwatch.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just when they were becoming trending, so obviously that was a part of it. But I remember it was the small, just cube, exactly. It was a cubic box. I unwrapped it and I saw it, and I remember I just hugged you and my mother. It was just a great. I think it was the one present where I did not expect ever. Because when you put down a video game, you're kind of hoping that you get the video game.
I knew you like it, and I didn't even drop a hint that you're going to get it.
Exactly.
And it was kind of expensive, and I think I even kind of dropped hints that look, you won't get it.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
This year anyway. And that's why I maybe surprised you, because for two main reasons: you didn't expect it, and secondly, because you wanted so much.
Yeah, exactly. I remember I'd gotten everything, like one or two things off my list that I really wanted, which was the video game, or I don't know, was it something else, clothes or whatever, and I thought it was over, and just the fact, I think there's something else left underneath the Christmas tree. It's like, oh really? And you hand it over, and it was just the unexpectancy. I think that's what it was. I don't think a gift. I don't even think it was the gift. I think it was the emotions that I felt that just can't be rivaled with any other ones that I've felt. And yeah, it's lovely. Now, obviously, I have a younger sister, which is great to see. Sometimes when she's not expecting something underneath the Christmas tree, she's very happy now that I'm a little bit more grown up. Well, yeah. I think that's my favorite Christmas present.
Excellent.
So, you've obviously lived, as you said, 24 Christmases in Bulgaria, 24 in Ireland. Now, if you were to choose between Grandfather Frost or Santa Claus, now obviously one's the communistic era, the other one is the times that we're, today's contemporary politics. And I don't even think it's that. Would it be the Grandfather Frost because he has a sentimental sort of value, obviously, your childhood years and your young adult years, or do you prefer the 24 years with Santa Claus?
I always, when it comes to sweet and festive memories of Christmas and New Year, especially in communism, I have sentiment and nostalgia and warm feelings and memories of Grandfather Frost, or how we call it in Bulgaria, Dядо Mrasa, in Russia, Дядочка Мороз or Morosko. And if I can bring piece of these memories to my present life, it will be a fantastic thing. But Santa Claus as well. In that aspect, I like more Grandfather Frost, but also I have really fantastic memories of Christmas and Santa Claus, with how I said with your mom when we celebrating it. I remember in communism they wouldn't allow us, we secretly celebrated, but it was something very special, something that you celebrate secretly, and that no matter what the government tell you, you hold your faith and your traditions.
Yeah.
So both are both. I like them both, but if I have to be honest, maybe slightly a little bit more Grandfather Frost.
Okay. Well, that was the last question for this episode, which concludes it. And in general, because just to go back with the posts being obviously late, the Spotify account, we've come across some issues and it was taken down with all the videos, and unfortunately some of the files were corrupted along the way. We looked at it, it was a bit of a shock. So this episode will be posted on a new Spotify account, and obviously we still have our YouTube channel, thankfully, with all the videos. So just for anybody wondering where are the other videos, well, unfortunately they won't be there anymore on Spotify. So hopefully nothing like that occurs again, where both the files of the laptop get corrupted and the channel gets taken down on Spotify. So we'll be starting with the first episode, will be this Christmas special episode on Spotify on the new Content Emotion podcast. And we continue on from there. Yeah, and again, very sorry for the ones who like our channel and we haven't posted recently, but how I said, and my co-host said, we were extremely busy and that's why we didn't have time for more episodes. We did less than a year, 23, and now for a few months only one. Yeah, only one,
sorry about that, but we will do next one hopefully before Easter.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
If we get time, of course. So I want to take an opportunity to wish everybody
Yeah.
good health, happiness, and because I think this is the two most important things. I always wish people these two things because they're the most important. And
A happy new year.
And happy new year. And I hope all dreams come true in the new 2025.
Well, that covers it for today. Thank you for everybody that's joined us either on the new Spotify account or on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like button, notification bell, and we'll catch you in the next one.